478. Sanjeev was talking about Reliance Infrastructure. The company announced numbers yesterday, and we've got the management there.
Yeah, PAT came in at about 408 odd crores, so pretty flat in terms of PAT growth and not too much in terms of a year-on-year change as well. Sales, however, surged about 63 odd percent. EBITDA margins came under some bit of a squeeze. Lalit Jalan, the CEO and director at Reliance Infrastructure, joins in with an outlook on the numbers and the Q3 performance. The first would be the overall numbers, Mr. Jalan. While the top line growth has been quite significant, about 63 odd percent, there's been a squeeze on the EBITDA margins. Profitability has been fairly flat. Any key highlights for the quarter?
No, this quarter overall has been very encouraging. We have seen a top line growth of 66%, and we have seen very attractive growth across each of our sub-segments, namely electricity business, EPC business, as well as the infrastructure business. Our EBITDAs have grown at 35%, and so it's been a very encouraging quarter in each of our sub-segments.
Right. Mr. Jalan, many of the projects, particularly in the infrastructure segment, are a little stuck up because of clearances. What's the guidance for the year right now in terms of meeting your internal targets?
Again, if I were to look at each of my verticals separately, in the electricity business, the big risks of regulatory risks are all behind us. The issue of license, the issue of tariff, the issue of FSA is all behind, and we have seen a good growth of 190,000 customers over the last 9 months in our 2 distribution properties. So that will continue to see more than a 20% growth in top line for Q4. EPC business will show the same traction because all our 13 projects that we are doing in EPC are at advanced stages of construction. So to get similar kinds of numbers is reasonable. And on the infrastructure side, with 5 road projects operational and 1 Delhi Metro operational, we see 5 more road projects becoming operational in the next 3 months, and that itself will more than double up the turnover from our infrastructure vertical. And by the end of the year, we will have 19 projects earning revenue on our infrastructure space.
Mr. Jalan, most of the work and orders that you spoke about were all backed a couple of years back. Last 2 years, order intake has dropped down to a trickle for Reliance Infrastructure. What are you doing to sort of correct that? And that's a big area of concern.
No, it's an extremely good question. It is not that we have not been participating in all the verticals of this sector. We have actively participated in the road sector, metro sector, distribution and transmission sectors. However, we are, as we have said several times in the past, we are completely committed to the fundamentals of the business, and we are committed to doing businesses which are profitable, which our shareholders want us to do. And just for the sake of increasing our book in infrastructure, we will not bid for projects at suboptimal returns. In the last 2 years, it has been reported very widely on several of the channels that the bidding intensity has been very, very feverish, and we are happy to take part and not win projects in such an environment. But I think the time will come when projects at optimal returns would become available, and we'll be happy to win the projects at that stage.
Right. What's the update on roads, Mr. Jalan? You've said in the past that you'd look to buy road assets which are distressed right now. Companies who bid at some certain rates can't complete the project anymore because of financial difficulties. Any progress there?
As I said, that we are bidding for new projects. We have taken part in all the good projects which have been made available by NHAI over the last 2 years. It is just that owing to the bidding intensity, we have been not close to winning these projects. So there is, it's not that we have taken a strategic move not to bid for new projects. We will continue to bid for good projects, and that you will keep on finding in the quarters to come. On the issue of distressed assets, there are a lot of distressed road assets available, and many of them have been made available to us by the investment bankers, and our teams and our road teams are evaluating those opportunities. However, we are very clear that we are happy to look at these opportunities, but these opportunities have to be at the returns that we expect for our shareholders. So if projects do become available at the correct returns, then we'll be happy to look at secondary market opportunities in the road sector.
Mr. Jalan, let's come to the topic of the Mumbai Metro and the ceiling. That's been an overhang since really long. What's going on there? A lot of delays.
The Mumbai Metro 1 project, we now have all the approvals with us. The last approval was received a couple of weeks back. So the entire viaduct is now available. We expect the project to become operational by the end of this calendar year, and revenue operational from next year. On the ceiling, we are completely ready for pre-construction. We have achieved all the milestones. There are issues which are pending from the government side, and we are continuously in dialogue with MSRDC and Government of Maharashtra to resolve these issues so that construction of the project could start.
Finally, Mr. Jalan, comment on the toll revenue expectations?
We do not give a specific guidance in terms of road revenue for the projects which have been in operation in FY11 as well as FY12. We have seen very encouraging growth. That could also be because FY11 was seeing little low activity. And once these 10 road projects become operational, we would see revenue close to 1,000 crores from these 10 road projects in one full year of operation.
So thanks very much for your time. Great to have you with us here on the show on the numbers, the third quarter numbers for Reliance Infrastructure. 60 points to the Nifty.